Yep. That's what's happening. They were laying quietly until like a minute ago. But, why would they still lay quietly? I don't know. It's like there's a timer set in their little puppy brains that say, go, be a nutbag. And it's so hot outside, I can't throw them outside. Sorry, I'm kind of futzing with the camera for YouTube, and I'm giving the rest of you guys armpit. All right. Well, I guess that'll do. Any chance at all you guys are going to be done with this in the next 2 minutes? No, that is a big fat no. All right, hang tight, you guys. Come on. Come on. Karma. Come on. Hey. All right, seriously, come on. Go. Hey, go, please go. All right, so that's my mutts. If you've never met my animals before, someone asked me the other day who the big fluffy one was, and Keiko usually stays out of the scene, but she apparently is all fired up with the rest of them too. So I still think this is still either too closed or something's going on. Something's happening. So pretty much everywhere any of you guys are, it's like 7 million degrees, right? And the really crazy thing is that what's Tuesday, right? I think is technically the first day of summer. Holy moly, it's going to be a long one. It's okay. So that's always kind of confused me. Like the first day of winter is, I'm from Wisconsin, and in Wisconsin in December it's full on winter. So this first day thing has always kind of mystified me because here it's hot already, there it was cold already. But anyway, so the idea behind today, of course, is that it is the longest amount of light. I say longest day, and that doesn't make any sense because, they're all 24 hours. But the most light of the year, the longest period of light, I don't know, whatever. You get the idea. So my thought today was to use the sun salute, right? We're going to embrace the sun, and then it'll start getting darker earlier tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, Wednesday, right? Yes, Wednesday. So, as much as it may be a little much right now, is what it is, right? This is how the planet works. This is a really crooked camera, and I apologize. Yeah, that might be better. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so we're going to mostly flow all of our poses within the sun salute. So be sure that you're listening to your body. Right? Do what you need to do to take a break, take modifications. Good morning, Marissa. I don't know who's over on YouTube. Imagine Sandy's over here somewhere. She's a hardcore. All right, so let's get going. And again, just make sure that you're modifying things. If you've had enough planks, you don't have to do a million planks, right? And there's not a million in here. There's not even 108. I don't know. I don't know that I could do that. So I wouldn't ask. I wouldn't ask you guys. So yeah, just listen to your body. You know the rules, right? Make sure it's right for you no matter what it is. We'll open up the chest a little bit at the end because that just always feels good. All right. So We're going to begin here with the feet up underneath the hip bones. Make sure your toes point forward. And then engage into the floor. So whatever is in contact with the mat, we want to make sure that we're really moving in through that. So pressing down into the mat. The legs activate, a little tug of the tailbone, support your lower back, lifting the pelvic floor, lower belly in and up. We're tall through the sides, relaxed through the shoulders. Closing your eyes, take the bottom tips of your ears back until you feel the weight of your head come right over your shoulders. And just take a moment here, being aware of all the muscles that are working and maybe the ones that are but don't need to be. Making sure the upper belly is soft. Let's go ahead and expand into the breath. Eventually coming to that just beyond comfortable yoga breath. And even recognizing each day is a little different with just your breath. Some days it's great, big, giant, and full, and it's no problem. And other days it's just a little choppy. Maybe it can't be quite as big. Even that changes. Bringing your brain into this yoga place with this beautiful breath and engaged, present state of mind. And then keep that no matter what. No matter what the body is doing or not doing, that's where we want the mind to be. With the next inhale, we're going to take the arms and stretch them up toward the ceiling. Let's exhale, bring them back down again. We'll do that again. One more like that. Coming back to the top, inhale. Let's rotate the palms toward the ceiling, interlacing the fingers here. Stretch through the heels of the hands without squeezing your shoulders to your ears. Exhale, tip yourself over to the left. Back up to the top. And we'll take it over to the right. So we're going to go side to side, just nice and gentle, connected to the breath. Staying even and strong and steady through the feet. Let's go once more on each side so that we're even. Getting there as good as it's going to get for now. When you're back up to the top here, let's exhale, release the arms back to the sides. And just lightly rest your hands on your thighs here. With an exhale, we're going to come over into a half fold. Lean on the legs, of course, if you have to. Little bend into the knees on the inhale. We'll roll in back up again. Exhaling as you come forward. Inhaling to roll back up. So let's take just a few more flows like that, getting into the spine, a little bit into the hamstrings. Let's come over into that half fold, and we're going to hold here. Bending into the knees enough to just kind of rest your forearms on your thighs. If you need to lean, you can lean. From here, take that right arm, stretch it up toward the ceiling. And you can allow the body to shift a little bit here, letting the left knee pop forward, the hip shift over, whatever little adjustments your body wants to make. We're releasing that side, coming back to center and then switching. Let's release that. Take the legs straight again, supporting the body in this kind of halfway position. And you may or may not be parallel to the floor depending on where your hamstrings are at, right? But not your deepest stretch. This is the middle for you. Right? Shoulders are back, belly is in here. We've got proper alignment of the spine. And then we're gonna just try and work a little deeper. So inhale where you are. Exhale, sink into that fold a little bit deeper than before. Inhaling back into that halfway place. Give your hamstrings that little bit of a release. And then exhale a little bit deeper yet. So we're coming in and out like that. Taking your time to find the deepest part of that fold. So if it takes you 4 breaths or it takes you 10 breaths, find it. And you can continue to come in and out, or once you've found the deepest part, you can hold there. We're going to take just a couple more breaths. And then let's just hang out to where you're at. So wherever the deepest part of your fold is, whether you're touching the floor or still up on your thighs, making sure that the spine stays long, the belly's engaged here. And then let's go ahead and step the right foot back, and we're coming into a lunge. So a nice big step back. You can absolutely drop the right knee to the floor. I'm just gonna kind of shift around and wiggle into the hips. And then find a center. So sinking into the hips, imagine drawing your legs toward each other. You might feel that right hip come forward a little bit or the left hip draw back. Just feeling square. Keep that position with the pelvis and then think sinking a little lower. Pressing through the heel and extending out the crown of your head. Press off the back toes. And let's step forward into our fold again. Just take a second, find the middle here. And then we're going to switch sides, so step the left foot back. Nice big step. You can always adjust or drop the back knee if that's what you need to do. Roll around. And then find that center here. So extending out the heel and the crown of the head, sweeping the legs toward each other. See if the pelvis will sink a little bit lower once you're in that squared position. Pressing off the back toes, stepping forward again. And you'll find when you step forward out of, say, down dog, that you're always going to use the same foot. Right? But we want to occasionally switch it up a little bit. So from here, let's go ahead and step back into our down dog. And once you get there, allow yourself to wiggle around a little bit. And as you begin to settle in here, think about the four corners of the hands like we talked about the four corners of the feet earlier. We want to press the chest back, keeping the legs straight if you can. Sink the heels toward the floor whether they touch or not, feeling the stretch in the backs of the legs, keeping the spine in this neutral position even here, right? So if your hamstrings are a little tight, you might find that you round in the lower back. Sometimes people get a little overexcited and sink way too low into the shoulders. So keep that neutral position for your upper body here. We're going to move in with the breath here. On an inhale, slide forward, come to plank. With the exhale, take it back into down dog. So just like that, in and out. Making sure that the belly stays engaged, the hips don't sink too low as you come forward. Let's go once more, forward and back. And from down dog, go ahead and drop on down to the knees and give yourself a child's pose. So you can stay more engaged even in child's pose, stretching the arms out really far, maybe even grounding into your hands a little bit, or find that you can sink into it and make it more of a relaxing position. It's restful either way. You guys breathing. Break time is over. Let's lift back to down dog. So keeping what we set before, let's go ahead and lift the right leg. Pressing through the heel here, keeping the hips square for a moment. And then allow the hip to open without the shoulder shift, right? The right shoulder likes to lift to help open the body. Try and keep your shoulder down, opening just the hip, and you can bend at the knee, pointing the knee toward the ceiling-ish. Let's release that side, squaring your hips again, releasing the right foot to the floor, and then switching. So lift the left. Start with the hips square and feel that extra little stretch you can get here. Allow the hip to open, keeping the shoulders level, bending at the knee here. We'll release that side. And let's go ahead and drop back down to the knees and take that child's pose again. Remember, you can take a little break in between anything that you need. And if you need more or less, right, you could be holding down dog here. And we're going to add on to that a little bit. So back to our down dog. Let's lift the right leg. Open at the hip, take the toes really high, bending at the knee if you prefer. Take the legs straight and square your hips again, but leave the right foot away from the floor. Shift forward, come into a plank. And then shift back into down dog. Release the right foot. And we're gonna do that exact same thing over on the second side here. So lift the left. Open at the hip, bend at the knee. Straight legs, square hips, toes up off the floor, slide forward. And back, three-legged dog. Release the toes to the floor and sit back into your child's pose again. So any or all of that, and we do have one more thing to add on to that little fun part. So let's come back to down dog. Lift the right leg, open at the hip, bend at the knee. Taking the legs straight, squaring the hips, keeping the toes up off the floor as you slide forward. You can absolutely drop the left knee here if you like. Bend your elbows tight to the sides. Let's drop to the belly and then release the toes. So down here on the belly, we're going to take a little bit of a break. Hands next to the side ribs. A lot of times they land under the shoulders. Pull them back. Hug the elbows. And then with the breath here, on the inhale, pull them up by your ears, together on your back, roll them down toward your hip bones. Exhale to release them. So a big shoulder roll connected to the breath. We'll go deeper, I promise. So just take your time with this. Let's take one more roll like that. Resting for a moment. Keeping the elbows in as you press up and back for down dog. So let's go to our second side here, lifting the left leg. Open at the hip, bend at the knee. Straight legs, square hips, keeping the toes up off the floor as you slide forward. Drop to the belly. Releasing the left toes. And again, just kind of check in, make sure your hands are where you want them to be. We want to hug the elbows. We're going to roll the shoulders like we did, but hold. So squeeze your elbows into your waist. Using primarily the back muscles so far, right? Pull with your hands like you're going to pull your belly button forward. Feel that extra space that you just created. Maybe press into the hands, come a little higher. Keep your elbows squeezing into your waist so your shoulders stay away from your ears. We're going to hold for one more breath and then release back down. Rest for just a second. Keep the elbows in as you make your way up and back for down dog. Let's go ahead and drop on down to the knees. Sit back in your child's pose. So let's come back to down dog. When you step your feet forward, think about using the foot that does not want to go first. Whichever one that might be. And then come back to a standing fold here. Placing the feet exactly where they need to be. Slide the hands to the thighs. We're going to lift halfway up. Belly in, shoulders back. And then bend into the knees and let's come to chair. So feet underneath the hip bones, toes point forward, your belly's in, the chest is open and lifted. And if you need to be leaning on your legs to hold yourself here, go ahead. Otherwise, the arms can come center or extend. Keeping the shoulders relaxed if the arms reach up. Anytime the arms reach, the shoulders want to lift too. See if you can keep them down. Or relaxed. I mean, it's not a tight position of it. Inhale, stretch to the ceiling. And then exhale, release. So using the hands on the lower back for support, if you feel like you need that. If you don't really, if your back is fine and you're feeling like you want a little bit bigger stretch, you can interlace the fingers behind the lower back or maybe switch up as we go. But just make sure you're doing what's right for your body. Maybe start a little gentle and then proceed. Right? So the feet are up underneath the hip bones here. Tailbone pointing toward the floor. Keep the lower back long and the hips over the ankles. Hug your elbows. hug your shoulder blades, and then lift your chest toward the ceiling. Keeping the bottom tips of the ears moving back, the chin tucked toward the throat, so that the back of the neck stays nice and long, just like your lower back. Those two areas move very, very freely. And so as you adjust in here, maybe you change where your hands are, and you can make it bigger by using body weight. So maybe the arms out into cactus or extended alongside the ears. Again, just kind of listening to where your body is right at this moment. You got one more breath. Lead with the chest on the way up. Inhale. Relax the arms. Let's take the hands back to the thighs here. Check in with your feet, make sure they're in the right position. Belly's still working. We're gonna come over into a half fold, nice and easy here. Again, leaning on the legs as much or as little as you need. And then take it all the way over into fold. And in this fold here, go ahead and step your feet together. How you guys doing? So still feeling really even on the four corners of the feet. They're just touching now. And we want to squeeze the legs in toward each other. So really make them active here. Taking the hands up to the thighs. Go ahead and bend into the knees, and we're going to sit into this variation of chair. Squeezing the legs together for stability. Belly's in, so that nice long lower back is still happening. And you can keep it simple, just bringing the left hand over to the right knee, outside of the right knee, and then the right hand maybe to the hip. And you can pull around. If you want a little bit more though, how about that left elbow to the outside of the right knee? And then the palms can touch and all that fancy stuff here. So finding the depth of the twist that your body is ready for. Keeping the spine long, feel even on your feet, regardless of what the arms are doing. We're going to release that side. Come on back to your fold. Moving to the second side. So really activate the legs, bend into the knees, come on up. Feeling stable. And then adding in the twist, whether it's just your hand to the outside of the left knee or whether it's your right elbow. As always, the arms, as long as it's the feet on the floor, the arms have very little to do with what's going on. So you decide, find your twist. Let's release that. Come on back to the fold again. Opening the feet back to hip bone distance apart. Sliding the hands back to the thighs, come up halfway. And then hinge it all the way up. Standing tall again. All right, so we've been inside, it's a sweaty mess. So here's where we're going to start in with our sun salutes. And again, how much of the flow you do. Okay, let's see. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, take yourself over into a fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Let's exhale, stepping the right foot back into a lunge. So back here, we want to think about sweeping the legs toward each other. Remember, you can drop the right knee to the floor if you need. We're going to take the left leg straight, or straight-ish. Folding over the leg, working to keep the hips square, the shoulders together on the back. Bending back into the knee, let's step back to a down dog. Both feet on the floor here, we're going to shift forward, come to plank. And then exhale down to the belly, elbows tight. Hands next to the side ribs. Move them if they didn't land where you want. Roll into your shoulders, little pull, little press, keeping the elbows into the waist. And then exhale to release that. Nice and controlled, up and back, down dog. Let's step the right foot forward. Take your time getting your toes to your fingers. Finding that center place for the pelvis. When you're ready, taking the right leg straight. Remember, you can prop. The left knee can be on the floor. Making the practice yours. Let's go ahead and bend back into the knee and step forward into fold. Come halfway up on an inhale. Fold back over again. Reaching all the way up. And then exhaling to release. Adding on. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Halfway up. Stepping the left foot back this time. Finding that steady place. Let's take the leg straight. Bend back into the knee. Bringing the right hand to the hip here and rotating around, adding in a twist. Keep the pelvis nice and level. Pressing out through the back heel and out through the crown of the head. Releasing the twist. Step back, down dog. With an inhale, shift forward, coming to plank. Exhale, taking it down to the belly. Hands in position, rolling into the shoulders, little pull, little press. Maybe the arms start to come straighter, but keep the elbows to the waist. Releasing that. Up and back, down dog. The left foot's going to step forward. Making sure that the toes come all the way up, adjusting this lunge wherever it needs to be. Finding stability, take the left leg straight. Bend into the knee. And add your twist. Left hand coming to the hip. Rotate around. Releasing the twist. Step forward, fold. Halfway up. Exhaling over. Coming all the way up. And then releasing. Adding in. Inhaling, lift. Exhale yourself into fold. Halfway up. Right foot back into your lunge. Finding that stable place here. Climbing up on the thigh. Drop the back knee if you feel like you need to. Otherwise, that back leg is straight and strong. Pressing through the heel. Relaxing those shoulders, extending out the crown of the head. And if you want to add arms, go ahead. Releasing, let's come over into our lunge again, stepping back, down dog. With the inhale, shift forward, come to plank. Exhale down. Rolling into cobra, and then releasing. Back to down dog. Stepping the right foot forward. Adjusting. Feeling stable as you climb on up. When you're ready, when and if you're ready, extending the arms. Let's release it back to lunge. Stepping forward, fold. Coming halfway up. Back over again. Reach for the ceiling. And release. Halfway through. We're halfway through the sun salutes anyway. I don't really know what time it is. All right, so let's go. Inhale, lift. Take it into fold. Come halfway up. Left foot steps back for lunge. So coming up into that warrior one position here. Arms where you need them to be, of course. This time, drop the back heel, open the arms for warrior two. Check that you see your big toe. They're not always the exact same position, so make sure you protect your knee. Let's make our way back to that warrior one, up on the back toes, and then over lunge. Stepping back, down dog. And shifting forward for plank. Drop one down. Roll into your cobra. Releasing back to down dog. Stepping the left foot forward. Adjusting. Staying nice and stable as we climb up. And then drop the back heel, open for warrior two. Back to warrior one, up on the back toes. Releasing, stepping forward, fold, maybe. Halfway up, back over, reach it up, and exhale, release. All right, almost there. Inhale and lift. Take it over into fold. Halfway up. And the right foot back again, lunge. Get stable, climb on up, reaching the arms. Drop the back heel, transitioning into warrior two. Let's take the left leg straight, reach forward and tip over into triangle. Lean on the leg if you need. Keep the shoulders back. Not leaning forward and sticking the butt out. Nice and aligned here. Lifting back to our warrior two. Warrior one. Release over into lunge. Step back, down dog. Slide forward for plank. Drop on down. Roll into cobra. Back to down dog. Stepping forward with the right foot. Work those toes on up. Climbing up. Opening into this warrior one. Dropping the heel for warrior two. Right leg straight, hinging forward over into our triangle. Back to warrior two. Warrior one. And over to lunge. Step forward, fold. Halfway up. Folding over. And then reaching all the way up. Release the arms. Even inside, it's a hot, sweaty mess. All right, let's do it. This is it. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Halfway up. Left foot back, lunge. Climbing up through our warrior one. Opening up into warrior two. Taking the right leg straight, coming into triangle. And then close it up. Come back with the hands on the floor, up on the back toes. You can drop the back knee if you're feeling a little unstable. We're twisting. Bringing the right hand to the hip and rotating around. Release the twist. Here we go. Back to triangle. Into warrior two. Warrior one. Lunge. Back to down dog. Last time, shift forward, come to plank. Drop it down. Into cobra. Back to down dog. And then the left foot steps forward. Toes to fingers. Take your time here, make adjustments. We're getting tired, I know. Lifting the upper body, reaching the arms. Opening into warrior two. Take it into triangle, left leg straight, reach forward, hinge. Close it up. Hands to the floor, up on the back toes, squaring the hips. Ideally, the left leg is straight, but if it can't be, it can't be, right? Adjust the back foot if you need. Let's twist, left hand to the hip. Release the twist. Drop the back heel, opening into your triangle again. Warrior two. Warrior one. Release over into the lunge. Step forward, fold. Halfway up. Folding over again. And then all the way up. Releasing the arms. Holy moly. All right. Everybody still with me? Breathe in. All right, so we're gonna get a little bit of balance work in, and then we'll be down on the floor. There we go. All right, perfect. All right, so on your mat, near a wall, off your mat, whatever you have to do here so that you can stand on one foot. And remember, that's the only piece you have to make happen, no matter what it ends up looking like. So strong and steady into the legs, lower belly is working here. We're gonna lift the right leg. Open at the hip, keeping the hip square. Bring the foot into the inside of the left leg, whether your toes are on the floor or all the way up into your inner thigh. Hug the legs. Tuck the tailbone, standing tall. Let's take those fingers. You can absolutely support the lower back like we did when we had 2 feet on the floor. Interlace behind your back. Open into cactus or extend the arms, you decide. But the same thing happens. We pull the shoulder blades together on the back and the chest opens and lifts toward the ceiling. Strong and steady in through that left foot. Big, beautiful breaths. With the next inhale, bringing your body up to a neutral position, releasing the arms and that right foot. Move to the second side. Same idea. All the way to the right. Lift the left. Open at the knee and bring that left foot in. So keeping the pelvis square. Hug the legs in, tuck the tailbone. Decide what you want to do with your arms. You can always change your mind. Pull the shoulder blades together on the back, lifting the chest up. Keeping the neck and the lower back nice and long. With an inhale, making your way back up, releasing the arms and then the leg. And sometimes it's perfect and controlled, and sometimes you're like falling out of it most of the time. So let's take those arms and stretch them up toward the ceiling. We're going to exhale over into a fold. Nice and easy here. Support on the thighs if you feel like your back needs that. Coming all the way over. And then stepping back into down dog. Let's go ahead and drop it down. Take a child's pose, just a little bit of a break. Take another nice big breath. All I did was pick them up. Let's go ahead and lift back into down dog. We're going to take it into plank and drop down to the belly. So just a little bit more work here with our back bends. Right. Listening to your body, we can absolutely stick with the shoulder roll like we did at the very beginning, and that's totally fine, right? We want to ground into the tops of the feet, turn the tailbone toward the floor. So you're pressing your pelvis down into the floor, and in your brain anyway, let that be your foundation. We want to roll our shoulders like we did, pull, press. Keep the elbows to the waist. See if you can take your arms almost straight. We don't want to lock the elbow because a lot of times people just kind of lean into it, right? And the shoulders sink and there ain't nothing going on here. So make it like work. Make like you mean to be here. Lead the chest. Head in line with the spine. What about taking your legs up off the floor? Your thighs, not your feet. I don't know how you do that. Release it back down. And then roll over onto your back. So of course, reposition on your mat, right? And take a moment to get along. So your feet can be flat to the floor or the legs extended for right now. Just take a moment, align your spine, try to relax the muscles in your back. And then keeping the backside in this place. If your feet are not already, go ahead and take them flat to the floor. We're going to extend the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. And then reach behind the thigh here. Fingers are interlaced, shoulders are relaxed down as much as possible. So if you have a strap and you want to use it, feel free. We're going to exhale, pull the right leg in a little. And then inhale, let it go a little. So gentle like that, in and out. And find a center here. So a little bit deeper into the stretch than you started, but nothing crazy. Go ahead and extend the left arm out to the left and glue that side of your body to the floor. Support the outside of your leg with your right hand and start to let the leg fall out to the right. You're going to feel that left hip get a little light at some point. That's where you stop. Trying to keep the pelvis level. And then let the leg fall into the hand so that you don't have to squeeze into the hip. And that left hip can still be on the floor. Bring it back to the middle. And then let's take this right foot all the way over to the left. And yes, your right hip is going to lift. Dropping the leg toward the floor, whether it touches or not. And then you can extend your right arm back out to the right. Try and rest your shoulder back. Let your right leg be heavy, even if it doesn't touch the floor. The knee can absolutely be bent here. We're going to take one more breath. Bend at the knee first here if you feel like you need to. We're going to bring that leg back up to the middle. And then release it. So if you did get a little crooked, find that center place again. We will do the exact same thing with the left leg. So take it straight up. Interlace the fingers or use your strap here. Exhale as you pull the leg in. Inhale, let it go a little. In and out like that. Finding that center place again. Extending the right arm out, support with the left hand here, and let the leg fall left. Trying to keep the pelvis as even and level on the floor as before, with this right knee pointing straight up toward the ceiling. Let the leg fall into the hand. Back up to the top, all the way across the body. Letting the leg fall to the right and extending the left arm. another nice big breath. Bending at the knee first if you prefer. Bring the body up to center. Release the left leg. Align the spine again. Draw the knees into the chest. And let's rock. Squeezing the knees in, pull the forehead toward the knees. Give yourself a hug here. Release it out into a full body stretch. And then releasing your stretch. Find your way to Shavasana. So whether you remain extended on the floor, maybe you take the feet flat or put a bolster behind your knees. Come to a seated meditation, maybe supported up against the wall. Oh, maybe legs up the wall today. If that feels good and is accessible for you. And once you find where the body needs to be, allow yourself to just rest, relax, releasing the muscles. Coming back solely to your breath, the body is done for right now. Release control of your breath, but try to stay focused with it. Keeping the mind present and quiet. And just allowing yourself to rest for just a few minutes. allowing the breath to gradually deepen. Allow small and gentle movements to the body first. And begin to gradually wiggle and stretch. When you're ready, bringing the feet flat to the floor, rolling off to the side, and gently making your way back up to seated. Sitting well, bring the palms to touch, bowing to the light within. Namaste. Well, I'm surprised the heat hasn't slowed the dogs down, but maybe next week. So stay cool wherever you are, and I hope you enjoyed that. I just have finished up a 5-day, 15-minute yoga challenge. If you're interested in doing that, let me know. I can pick up another one again because I'm going to start the 4-week program that I have. I'm going to start that right after the 4th of July. So if you're interested, definitely hit me up and we will we'll talk about that and how to get into it and where to find that. All right. So thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.